The 7 train flooded with natural light as we emerged from underground and Long Island City's graffitied rooftops, pre-war buildings, and brick warehouses come into view. The commute from school to my parents' garment factory in Queens was a 25-minute bus ride, a transfer, and then another 35 minutes on the subway. After stepping off the packed train, I walked down a sidewalk lined with abandoned warehouses, their windows cloudy, cracked, and boarded up with pieces of plywood. Unmarked trucks and vans passed once in a while. 3 long blocks from the station, a large commercial dumpster sat in front of a pair of dark green double doors. No one went in or out, and there was no way to see inside, but I knew the place. I worked here every day after school and on the weekends. It was my latest punishment. I used my body as leverage to pull on the metal door. Immediately, even before I was fully in, a gust of stale air lifted the hair off my shoulders and neck and whipped it around my face. Goosebumps ran along my arms and the back of my neck. The door slammed shut behind me with a mechanical thud. The calm outside disappeared, and the sounds of a working factory took over. A few tall windows brought in natural light, while the rest of the warehouse lay in shadow. The sewing machine section, the only area with any direct lighting, was busy with women wearing disposable masks over their mouths and forearm coverings. The masks protected against the debris and pollutants in the air, and the oversleeves protected their arms from the heat of the lamps. From where I stood, I could see 2 rows of sewing tables, each slightly larger than a school desk, illuminated by individual lamps. Lighting was key to speed and safety here, as the women leaned on the pedals at their feet. Their bodies lurched forward in a soft concave, meeting the rhythm of rapid stitches at their fingers. 2 shades of maroon thread turned at their spool pins. Once in a while, a hand shot out, tugged on a thread, and unspooled a spindle. I rarely saw faces, only the tops of their backs, circular spotlights exposing the whiteness of their necks. The only memory I had of the factory before becoming a worker was on Chinese New Year, the one day of the year my parents closed shop. My mother, my half-siblings Henry and Jill, and I came early in the mornings to stuff gift bags. We formed an assembly line. I was at the head. A reluctant Henry stood next to me, followed by Jill, and then my mother. She sat licking the tip of her index finger, peeling crisp 20s and sealing them in red envelopes. It was hard to keep Henry working for more than a few minutes at a time, but Jill, a year younger than him, loved chores and tasks. She tossed a handful of red candy into each plastic bag, one eye always on our mother, seeking assurance and approval. I remembered the warehouse feeling cavernous, cold, and quiet. Our voices carried over the entire space. The vast size made us giddy, nervous. I remembered running from the echoes that lurked in the shadows like waiting ghosts. We raced back to our mother and back to complete our task. A running factory filled with workers was worlds apart from the deserted warehouse where we played Chinese Santa Claus. But from the number of gift bags we put together, I knew there were about 50 regular employees. There was no way to count the people in the factory now, tucked behind and around the machines, moving from one station to another. The enormity of the warehouse intimidated me still. A long thread landed in the corner of my mouth, and I wiped my face with the back of my sleeve. Industrial metal fans strategically placed around the warehouse circulated flat, hot air. The constant turbulence was meant to provide relief, but instead it annoyed and unsettled. Trash, loose thread, plastic, lint, and pieces of fabric migrated from the nearby surfaces, crevices, and floors, revolving in the air until they caught on something or someone. I looked over to the office, where my mother was most likely doing inventory, planning new projects or handling payroll. Then I headed in the opposite direction. I passed an old, dank fridge next to a small island with an off-white microwave and a commercial-sized rice cooker that could feed all the workers. Past the kitchen was the women's restroom. A light bulb flickered on and off, and then on again. The smell of ammonia, mingled with rice and leftovers, hit me as I passed by.